Starting now.
Okay, today is January 17th. Today's date is January 17th. This is the Public Safety Committee meeting. The time is now 7:07. Committee members that are here in person is Veronica Castro, Phyllis Natasio, and Dwayne Williams. On WebEx, we have Eliza Rodriguez and Melanie LaHose, both committee members. And then we also have Police Officer Tyrone Medeiros from the 49th Precinct and Erica Diaz from the Bronx DA's office. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Our first business was supposed to be doing the November meetings, November minutes, but unfortunately we don't have those at the time, so we're going to vote on those for the next meeting. So going past that now, I'd like to invite Officer Medeiros to give us the stats, the 28-day stats, if he has them.
Hello. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, awesome. Give me a second. There we go.
And we can see you.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, because I haven't seen some of you.
Happy New Year.
Let's see. So, crime is up. Let's see. Where to begin? There we go. For the past 28-day period, we have had a 145% increase in grand larcenies of automobiles. So the raw number there is 54 for the past 28 days as compared to 22 last year this time. That gives us an overall increase of 68 per. Sorry, hold on a second. Is this shot spotter? Oh. Hello. What was I? So that for year to date, that translates to a 28% increase in grand larcenies so far for the year. Our next largest increase is actually robberies. We've had a 161% increase in robberies in the past 28 days. The raw number is 34 as compared to 13 this time last year. So basically an overall crime increase of 21% for the past 28 days and 7% overall for the year so far. In terms of ongoing patterns, one of the things that we're dealing with is, people stealing I can't think right now. Jesus Christ. People are stealing unattended vehicles at a large rate. Specifically on Allerton Avenue corridor and the Morris Park corridor around White Plains Road. It's practically daily at this point, where someone leaves their car run to go into some store somewhere, and then when they come back, the car's gone. It's pretty prolific for the past 28 days at this point. The next thing that we're seeing is thefts of Ford Econoline vans, typically work vans. For the most part, they're stealing them to get to the tools. We've had 4 of those just in the past week. Next largest category would be Honda vehicles. We've had a few of those stolen, whether it be Accords or CRVs. So it's really the regular trends that we've seen for a while, only magnified over the past 28 days for reasons that I can't really explain. Robberies, we're actually dealing with a bunch of patterns. Everything from food delivery a worker robberies to just the street robberies. The food delivery robbery seems to be, as far as I understand, originating from the 43rd precinct, so it's right on our border, and so we're getting hit with that as well. The other robberies, the more prolific pattern that we're seeing so far is actually in the Van Nest neighborhood. We've had 5 incidents so far, mostly in Van Nest, and maybe a little bit north of Van Nest into the Little Yemen area. Basically, a group of people just jumping out and catching people by surprise and robbing them, basically. I think that's basically all I have. Oh, well, one more thing. There is a burglary pattern right now open in Morris Park. But that was basically 3 incidents of burglary. 2 of those instances were of basically the same address that shares, and well, 2 different businesses that share the same address. They both got hit at the same time. That happened, I think, closer to October. I don't think there's been anything since. But other than that, it's yeah. So I think that's all I got in general for you right now.
I have a couple of questions. Is it only Hondas and the CRVs and Accords that they've been targeting, or is it any Honda vehicle?
It is 4 vehicles for the most part. The CRV is number 1 on the list. If you have a CRV, my suggestion would be to take extraordinary measures to protect it. After that, Civics and Accords are stolen pretty regularly, and less regularly, but does happen, are Honda Pilots.
Okay.
As far as the unattended vehicles, I've noticed that most of the unattended vehicles being targeted are luxury vehicles, Mercedes-Benz, Beamers, Acuras, things of that nature. But in the end of the day, if it's running, if it's been known to be taken.
Gotcha. Thank you. I just also, there was recently, on January 8th, there was a shooting near Parkside Houses. Do you know if the suspect, if there's been any suspects arrested or anything?
I do not. I'm not aware. What's the deal with that? Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not. I don't know much about that particular case.
Okay, that's fine. We got the notice from Detective Sertivan. I was just curious to see if there was any updates on it.
Gotcha. Well,
thank you.
Give me a second. Hold on. Let's see.
Dwayne or Tiz, when Officer Madero's come back, do you have any questions for him?
Answered what the question I was going to ask about the.
Actually have a positive note. Thank you for.
Okay, definitely.
It's always appreciated.
Hello?
Hi.
Is that right? Hey, I'm having someone look it up for me to see if anything happened, because I'm not aware of anything. I guess since we're here, a few minutes ago we did get a male shot in the 1100 block of Burke Avenue. I think that's Eastchester Housing. Like I said, it came over a few minutes ago, so I don't quite know what the story is for that just yet.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know about that.
You're welcome.
Dwayne actually has something he'd like to address with you.
Yes, Officer Maderos, I'd like to extend a thank you for both your team and yourself. And thank you for your gracious professionalism in helping out with the unsafe conditions at Eastchester Road and Fenton Avenue. I've seen your team there on several occasions. As a result, I can see the impact that your team is having, and a lot of the unsafe conditions have improved. And I just wanted to say thank you and job well done.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay, starting with the the committee members that are on the WebEx. Ellie, do you have anything for Officer Maderos?
Yeah, I do. Let me switch this so you can see me. Give me a second. There we go. Last Friday, about 6:30 in the morning, my neighbor at 1133 Rylander Avenue called the precinct because she stepped out and found that her SUV was being held up by two plastic crates. All four tires were stolen. She was told because they broke the broke the passenger side window. When she called, they told her that she has to wait with the vehicle. She waited 2 hours and 20 minutes before someone actually showed up. When I got there about 7:30, she told me about her situation, and I called Jeremy, and then Jeremy reached out to the captain, and eventually got somebody over there. But why have her wait for 2 hours and 20 minutes? That was a little concerning to me. She had to call her boss and then worry about her kids going to school. It just took a long time to get someone there. But while we're waiting, we learned from other neighbors that they started coming around that on that same day, stuff was going on all over the neighborhood. Cars being broken into in people's driveway. And this is around Rylander, Williamsbridge Road, and that section. My office is in the corner of Rylander and Williamsbridge, right across the street from TD Bank. So it seems to me like there was a lot of activity going on there. And I learned from the guy that came eventually to put some of those small little tires on the SUV so they can tow it away on a flatbed, that these incidents increases a lot when it's raining outside, because the sound of the rain seems to mask what's going on in the street. So I was just concerned about what are we doing about providing more, I guess, patrol around our neighborhoods, especially when it's raining out, because there seems to be a lot of vandalism going on in that area that I pointed out. The address is 1133 Rylander Avenue. That's where the owner lived, but around that section. Have you been getting a lot of reports in that section?
In that section, no. That's not to say we don't get reports for the stolen rims, though. That is also something that's been trending lately. It come and goes for the command. Right now, criminals are after Toyotas, typically Camrys and Highlanders, Hondas, CRVs and Pilots, rims, and Acuras, typically MDX vehicles.
Officer Madero, what about the wait time? Is that usual, or is that was unusual for that particular call? 2 hours and 20 minutes for someone to show up.
That is usual. I can't. That sounds about right, to be honest. We just recently got assigned somewhere around 25 new personnel.
Mm-hmm.
They are all in field training units, so they're not on patrol just yet. They are basically on foot posts. They're being assigned to Eastchester houses, Pelham houses, different areas, but they're on foot, so they're not responding to anything. So until they get out of the field training program, they're typically not going to be responding to jobs. So it's going to be the people that we have here that have that experience. The reason why we got so many new people in the past few weeks is because we lost probably 30 plus officers in the past year. So our response times, especially for non-emergency situations, have increased. It is not uncommon to wait 3.5 hours for anything that's not considered a priority. Hopefully, with these new people, in about 6 months, hopefully they'll be all be in cars. They'll be in their regular patrol units, and our response times will get better. But until then, long response times is probably going to be the norm going forward. Not only that, but the number of 911 calls that this precinct typically responds to has increased. I don't have the exact number, but it is beyond what is normal for the command, and it's been sustained for a while now. The same thing with quality of life complaints. I think our latest number now is we get up to 4,000 a month of those quality of life complaints from the 311 area, 311 number. And that is also a significant increase from what we used to deal with. So even if we didn't have the slight manpower problem that we have now, we still would be hard pressed because of the sheer number of 911 calls and 311 calls that we're getting in. Like I said, it's been increasing steadily, and it has not subsided for at least the past 2 years. I don't have the specific numbers in front of me. The commanding officer has spoken about it during our community council meetings. So he would definitely know better than me as to how many 911 calls are coming in, how many 311 calls are coming in. But I do know that they are significant.
Thank you, Ms. Madero.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Melanie, do you have anything for Officer Maderos?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
I see, Roxanne, do you have anything you'd like to address to Officer Maderos? No? Okay. And anybody else have anything they'd like to address to Officer Maderos? The only one left would be Erica from the DA's office.
I'm sorry, is this a public gallery session?
No, but
Hello?
Officer Maderos may not stay for the whole meeting, so I'm opening it up to the public.
Okay, because it's hard for me to hear you. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, do you have anything for Officer Maderos?
Yes. The
Okay.
Bronxdale Road Diet. We need some kind of enforcement there because it's like the Wild Wild West over there where we have cars using the bike lanes. We have opposite traffic sharing one lane, usually double parking on one of the traveling lanes. It's usually horrible during Friday around 3 to 4 p.m. And I will hope if NYPD could address that issue since DOT is not, before some resident or visitor gets really injured, whether they're drivers, pedestrians, or passengers. Is that possible, please?
If it's between 3 and 4, not really. The reason being is because 3 and 4 is the time where our day shift and our night shift switch. So our manpower at that point is extremely limited. And it could be hard. At that point, we're basically concentrating on 911 jobs. We're not even concerned with 311 at that point. So between 3 and 4, that is going to be very difficult. Now, as far as the rest of the issues with the diet on Bronxdale Avenue, we have been made aware of a lot of traffic problems, whether it be people blocking the bike lanes or whether it be the bike lanes themselves being unsafe because of the Van Nest Academy. We've gotten complaints of people dropping off children and then walking by the parked cars and then having to deal with speeding scooters and everything else that's on the that's right next to the curb because of the way the DOT designed the street now. In terms of enforcement, I will still mention it to the commanding officer to see what he would like to do in terms of that. But to be quite blunt about it, the problems that we now have on Bronxdale Avenue, a lot of those problems are no longer a matter of enforcement. A lot of it is now just plain structural. It's just the way the road has been made. So people are, whether it be dropping off people at school, whether it be Maestros, whether it be the Pine, whether it be just anywhere on that block, it's just not good, the situation. But I will, the commanding officer is aware of those issues. I'll bring it up to him again. But we very well could do all types of enforcement on that particular strip, but I really don't think it's going to solve anything at this point.
Well, I have to concur that it's actually been designed to actually make the situation much more less safer. But whatever you can do, because it is very dangerous for the children and pedestrians, especially during those hours on Friday. And I don't know what else to ask. We're reaching to the end where this road guy is going to actually injure someone, and only then will someone react to it. But anything you can do on behalf of the Bronxdale community will be much appreciated. Thank you.
No problem. I guess I agree. The vehicles, the way they're parked now, it protects the bike lanes, which is good. But in certain intersections that are not perfect 90-degree angles, which is actually most of Bronxdale Avenue, it leaves blind spots for motorists not being able to see pedestrians. So it's like I said, I'll mention it. Well, I'll bring it to the CEO's attention again. But it's really not much we can do now at this point.
Okay, thank you for your response. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Maderos. Does anyone else have anything for Officer Maderos? Okay. Do you have one question? Is it possible to have any officer, Chief Cal, join us at a public safety meeting, maybe at the full board meeting?
On your behalf, that has
People
happened.
would like to
Yes.
discuss this
And
with
just
him
if they're,
also.
if they're about it, they're about it. They're
Can you
whole.
please mute
They're
yourself?
whole, and they'll
Speaking.
fucking,
Thank you. So,
Captain Kentish.
Captain Kentish, sorry. Calb is DOT.
DOT.
Can we get a commanding officer to one of our meetings or to the full board meeting if possible?
always.
Hello?
Hi, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
this thing is getting weird. I will see if he can attend the full board meeting.
That would be great.
All right.
All right, thank you so much. I think that's it for all the questions we have for you. You're welcome to stay, but I know that you're very busy, and if you need to go, we totally understand that. So thank you again and Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thanks. I want to introduce Erica Diaz from the Bronx DA office. Erica, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Erica Diaz. I am now the liaison for the Bronx District Attorney's Office for both the 4-9 precinct as well as Community Board 11. If anyone ever needs to reach me, I can definitely put my contact information in the chat. And I have no announcements at the moment, but by all means, feel free to reach out for any questions and concerns. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Erica.
Erica.
Does anyone in the room have questions for Erica?
No.
No? Does anyone on WebEx have any questions for Erica?
No questions from me.
Okay, thank you, Erica. Thank you for joining us, and we welcome you to all our public safety meetings going forward. We'd love to have you. Thank you. Okay. For gallery session, Roxanne, I believe you're the only gallery member. Do you have anything you want to address to the committee?
Yes, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to hear you, but I'm not sure if this is the place, but I just joined the meeting late, but I would like to say, and this should be brought up at the leadership meeting, that the community board should read their code of conduct before the meeting proceeds, and that the board members especially should adhere to those code of conducts, because lately, and believe me, it's a sacrifice of my time. You may think, or you may, I don't really care much what you think, but it's a fact that it really takes a lot of my time and effort to join these meetings. And when I do join them, it always turns out to be a circus, and a lot is being initiated by board members, not by the public gallery or guests. And we had a recent meeting where one of the board members, whether he was intoxicated or not, kept interrupting the presentation and actually questioning where the presenters lived, which I really feel that there should be a code of conduct issue where whenever we object to something, we should at least be intelligently opposed to something as opposed to yelling at people as to where they live. I think it's inappropriate and it's making our community look very uninformed and very hostile. So if you could address this in a leadership meeting where the code of conduct must be read beforehand, the board members must adhere to those code of conduct, and if not, there should be some accountability. And going forward, when we have presentations, they should be done uninterrupted. When the public gallery member speaks, they should be able to do so uninterrupted. Whether you agree with them or not, we do still live in a free country, and this is why we have public meetings to hear everyone's opinion and hopefully come to a consensus that will benefit the whole community. Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Roxanne. I will address it at the leadership meeting. And you're right, the code of conduct does go for both the public and the board members as a whole. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank
Does
you.
anybody, thank you. Does anybody else have anything they want to bring to the board? Okay, we're going to try to get the DOT Commissioner Keith Kalb at one of our meetings. I know that he usually goes to the traffic and say, which is it, transportation, sorry, I couldn't think just now. The transportation committee, that's usually where he'll go for a meeting, but we're gonna try and get him here. We have safety issues regarding not only the Bronxdale Dyer, but other places too. We're gonna try and see if we could get him to come to one of our public safety meetings. If we do, we'll make notice, we'll make sure that the public is notified that he'll be here, so whoever wants to attend to ask him questions is welcome to do so. Is there any other guests that you would like to see join our public safety meeting to address any issues? Okay, if you do decide or come up with anything that you would like addressed or people to join our meetings as guests, feel free to email me at bxcb11treasurer@gmail.com and I will do my best to get them to come to our meeting. Okay. That being said, I guess
That's it.
the meeting's adjourned. It is 7:36. Thank you all for joining us. Happy New Year, and please stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you all at the next full board meeting next Thursday. Thank you
Happy New
again,
Year.
everyone. Have a good night.
Happy New Year. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.